Hello and welcome back to ThoughtBot's AI in Focus. We didn't talk about who was going to do the intro today before we started, so I was waiting to see whether Lewis jumped in. Lewis, thanks for joining me again on the stream.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you want to rock, paper, scissors for the intro or
Well, you're watching AI in Focus ThoughtBot show where we have been for quite some time now working on one cohesive, somewhat product called ReadySetGo, and that is a Rails-based AI-powered application generator. And as Lewis talked about on the stream last time, we are focused on turning our attention from generating the applications to making sure that the right application is being built, the right product is being built, and baking this process that we use called discovery sprints or product design sprints is what they were called historically, into Ready, Set, Go so that we can guide the user through the process of making sure they build the right product.
yeah, and I do want to speak to that. Like having been a part of discovery sprints, I mean, I know I've always said like the most expensive thing in software is to build the wrong thing. And while with AI tools, like the cost of building the wrong thing kind of comes down in terms of like, sure, you could spin up an app really, really quickly. It still represents a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of thought. And if you're going in the wrong direction, like we can catch that early. We want to start on the right foot no matter how long it takes to build a prototype. So like bringing that process in where we start talking to you, the person that has the idea, and having you explore that idea, having some pushback, all the different parts, that's going to then help the app generation part build what you're envisioning and not something that you said in like a quick prompt, saying, hey, build me this kind of app.
Yeah, and actually, it's a little bit like what is the saying? Like going slow to go fast. So what I find is by spending a little bit of time upfront, making sure the product is clear, coming up with like bullet point lists of features and explanations of how they work and everything, rather than just typing a one line description of the app, actually allows ultimately the agent that's building the app or the thoughtbot person that's building the app to move more quickly because it has more context, it has more information, we have more information, and we're able to move quickly and make informed decisions, as opposed to creating a bunch of things that were never needed in the first place or might be off track.
Yeah, getting to that actual critical path, the critical user path of where a user starts from and what they achieve by the end, like that helps us build a really focused MVP and not spending time right on the features that don't matter if the critical path is not what people want.
Yeah. So we can bring up your screen. You have
Okay.
up, this is Figma, sort of, it's both a combination of the critical path, but also some UI screens, right?
Yeah, so this is right now we're building this. So none of these screens exist yet. And this was Kevin Kwan has been working on this and designing the vision for the UI. And I'll zoom in a little bit here, but functionally what we want to do is we're going to go through a sprint. And the first part of the sprint is discovery, and that has phases. So, and this maps to like what you would experience with a ThoughtBot in-person design sprint, discovery sprint, sitting with us. Like we would guide you through all these steps, but here the LLM is gonna, take the reins. So today we're working on the kickoff part, capturing your idea and understanding like how you got to the idea, not just, hey, I want to build, a better pizza app, but really talking about like, why do you want to build it? What led you
And
here?
who are you building it for? Who's the customer, truly?
Yeah. So yeah, so like with all the steps, we'll have our kickoff. We would have customer focus, really getting that one sentence problem statement, um, taking a look at what is the market, who is the competition, and then the critical path that I mentioned earlier, the steps from problem to solved. Um, if this doesn't happen, nothing else matters. And then there will be future steps. So this is the discovery phase of the sprint. Later, we'll have the shape. And then eventually we'll be at the handoff spot where you could either continue with Ready, Set, Go, build prototypes that can then be carried on and built off of, or start directly with us. In any case, today, we're all the way up here at the top. Discovery, kickoff. This is what we're going to be working on.
You want to go, so we have in place now, we take in, well, if you've seen the stream before, you've seen that what happens is you create an app, you go into a chat experience with a preview pane on the right hand side and the chat on the left, and you start to work with the agent after the initial prompt of what to create, unless you interrupt it, is going to build the entire application.
Yeah, it really gets excited about it.
Right. So we have introduced a separate agent called a Kickoff agent, which is going to be worked with first in the chat. And Louis, you highlighted a feature of Ruby LLM called, what's it called? Model-backed agents, Rails-backed agents.
Yeah, Rails-backed agents, which are somewhere on this page. So it talks about Rails mode. Right. Yeah, and so this is the.
So these are essentially a wrapper around the base chat class or chat model. It's tough because the term model is so overloaded. But the active record model chat, this is a wrapper around it, provides a DSL for the instructions, the tools that this agent has accessible. And so when you instantiate one of these, you can either give it an existing chat or it will create one if you don't give it one. And then that chat will have those tools and those instructions and everything. And then you call .ask on it in the same way that you would with a normal chat. It basically delegates all of its methods to chat.
Yeah, and there's a part of this. Here we go. Here's the Rails-backed agent part. So, so where we started off was, and we'll bring up the code a little bit later. With our current the current app builder is like it's a chat class and it has all its tools. And now we're going to start working on creating different agents specifically to do different parts of the flow. Before we do, let me do a quick summary of where we are from last week, sort of what's changed in the code base. That could be its own segment. We need a little banner for that. What's new?
We could start introducing little segment banners and jingles.
Absolutely. So let's see. Okay, so Sarah, this is what Sarah and I worked on last week. So we added Flipper to control feature flags. And we're gonna we started exploring with them, and we're still sort of feeling out where we need them. But we know we're gonna want to turn some things on and off. So we've got that foundation laid in. This was a little bit of work from the past to clean up. We noticed that we were showing system prompts. We had filtered them out from the initial page, but then when Turbo was broadcasting changes, it was like, oh, here's the system prompt again, and it would appear in the stream. And we don't want those system prompts to be appearing in the thread that the user is looking at. So we've got that taken care of. An easy way to control whether controllers are active or not through feature flag and which controller actions are active. This was the first drive at shutting down some of the controllers. And then as Chad and I were talking about it, we're like, maybe actually we're going to want those controllers for discovery sprints. So we'll get through that. And then this was a security fix where our tool wasn't restricted to the right area. And I think this is a good public service moment. When you're building tools, you have to make sure like the agent doesn't know where it should work or not, and it doesn't care. So if you don't restrict it, nothing will. And good to know, agents want to talk to you. And so if you ask it, what tools do you have? It will tell you. And if you ask it, how do I use them? It will tell you. So you have to build that in. So in this case, like this particular one was around like saying, hey, no matter what files you're asked to list, it's only should happen within the directory of the app that this user has access to, not the entire file system.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's what's new. You can close that banner now. And Chad, do you want me to go through the sort of like the changes we've made so far to get to this point? We introduced like a model and a skill and all that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And as we work today, we are monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions or comments about directly what we're working on or anything else you're curious about, we'll see it and we'll do our best to answer.
Awesome. All right. So first thing here, we have some new data, and I'll show that in just a second, where I realized that how I had structured the organizations and teams wasn't really clear, and now it's much better. So we'll just see that. So we have a new skill here. So our skills, we've been putting in lib instructions, and this is going to represent the skill that the agent is going to use for this particular step in the flow. And so coming back to this, we're going to have a kickoff agent, a customer focus agent, a problem statement, etc. And Kevin has created the skills that each of these agents are going to use. And so we're basically taking those skills, dropping them into, or integrating them with Ruby LLM. So we have a new set of instructions for the kickoff phase, talks about its purpose, what the agent should do. And I think the interesting part here at the end is like, what are the outputs of this particular section? And we'll get into that as we work. So we've now added a kickoff agent. So we put it alongside our other agents. And just like the Ruby LLM documentation shows, it's pretty simple. Chad, is this a zoom big enough on the stream?
It is for me, but it could stand to be a little bit bigger.
Let's see if we can. Did that do anything?
No.
It did not seem to.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Moving along. We basically tell it here, this is our chat model. Again, that is the association to the active record model that is marked as access chat. We're pulling this out of our configuration. Right now we're using Haiku for cost. And the instructions are actually, this is nice. We're just telling it like, hey, here's the skill and use it.
Yeah. And I don't want to get too sidetracked, but it just occurred to me, I think Ruby LLM has a place where you can store instructions like as files on the system. And if you name them the right way based on the agent name, it'll automatically load them in.
Pull it in. Oh, that would be fun to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. And then we give it the list of tools, which right now is the read skill tool. And that's probably all it needs, but we'll find that out as we go if it needs any other tools. Actually, just while we're here momentarily, like the actual read skill tool itself is pretty clear. It has this, again, security that it only is operating within lib instructions and not reading any arbitrary file, because read skill tool is just a file reader. And so here it is, ensuring that we're in a valid skill path within lib instructions, and the file name that the agent specifies, read that file. So pretty straightforward tool. And we give it to the kickoff agent here. And then it's a little bit of a change from before, where before we were saying chat ask. For right now, we're going to say, let's just use a kickoff agent. Mm-hmm. And Chad, you had some ideas around like how this is going to work later, like what this becomes as we go forward in the overall process.
Right. I think ultimately we might have like, there's a state to the application, like an enum that represents the phase that the app creation is in. And then that might be like a method you would call to give you back which agent you should be using.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I started down the path of like, having some statements here, and like a little bit of like an if if then kind of thing. But as we're imagining this UI, we can imagine like the user's going through this, so we haven't done anything. We're right here in Kickoff, and then maybe they say, I'm done with Kickoff. I'm ready to move on. Cool. Now we're in customer focus. Maybe they want to revisit Kickoff. We could just set the state back to that. And for wherever they say, like, this is my current status, that grab that agent dynamically there, or choose it dynamically there. Okay, so for today, though, we're just going to be like, let's work with our Kickoff agent. And then we created the models. So a discovery sprint is really, for now, just kind of like a placeholder for things. It doesn't have anything yet, but it belongs to a project, and a project has potentially many of them. We have a simple factory that creates a project if you don't have one, or specify it, and then some simple tests around those. So pretty simple, but we have the model now available to us. We're not creating it yet. And I think, I don't know if that's maybe where we start, or we could also walk through, like this is working.
Yeah.
Right now we could walk through
let's
like
go
what
over
it feels
to the
like.
UI and show it working before we break it.
Cool. All right. Always good. Cool. So this is the new thing where I was like, the seats didn't really make sense. So overall, we're looking at the Thoughtbot organization. Within that, there are many teams. And for this case, these teams represent clients that we've had. These are from some of our case studies and things that we've built.
And
but the general
if you
idea
want
is
us to do a sprint for you, you can always go to thoughtbot.com and get in touch. We've got case studies for all these great clients on the site.
Awesome. And so for right here, the idea is, let's say if you're part of the Thoughtbot organization, you can access any of these teams. And if you are from the client on one of these teams, you would just be invited to this team. So you would be able to go in there. Sorry, you would just see, for instance, this block, and you could look at the project, which is, let's say, build an MVP. So let's go ahead and start here. So functionally, what's going to happen right now, we just pull up our. So right now, what we have it doing is it is going to build an app and then take us to the chat route. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to call this, what do we want to call this? Or rapid urgent care, or
Sure, that sounds great.
the fastest urgent care.
Rapid care.
Oh, I like. Okay. This is the fastest urgent care anywhere. Okay. Sweet. So we're in the chat, bringing up our app building UI. The vision we had would be like, this is where the chat is. Once the server is runnable, the agent would start the Rails server, and you could actually see what it's built. Logs is still being built, and get status shows. So this is the local project file or project directory, and within there, as the agent starts creating files, it will show you like what's staged, what's modified, et cetera, et cetera. So where we're going to get to in today is we're not going to care about these. And we will be having the chat here. And I wanted to go back to the Figma. And again, we're not going to be building out this full UI, but the idea would be, as we're going through, let's see, maybe bring that even a little bigger here. Like as we're going through the chat process with the agent, it's creating these artifacts, the outcomes of each section. And here on the right, it's showing those artifacts in a window. So again, this is a little bit of a, obviously this is like a complete mock, and the layout and all that may change, but we're like, this side creates, this side shows what's happened in this current phase that we're in. So if I tell it to go now, it's going to start building an app.
Yep.
It is going to generate a new Rails application and keep going. And
are you sure? I thought we.
Wait, because we did. No, you're totally right. You're totally right. Because we, sorry, let me go back to this, to our
Chats controller.
So we have our kickoff agent and our the chat response job,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because here we hard coded it to say, no, don't use the chat. And again, let's look at that diff really quickly. So before we were passing in a chat reference and just doing directly chat ask. And so that would have pulled in our default chat model, which has this list of tools and its own set of instructions, all defined here in the chat ask override. So it would be, this is where the app generation happens. So by changing this, right, to using the kickoff agent, all of that goes aside, and it's just the kickoff agent that's working. So let's give it a whirl. And we'll see here, it's going to read the skill. It's gotten the skill contents. And let's see, it's read the skill. This is the opening interview for a sprint project. Here's what I understand. So cool. I need to hear from you about your idea. And so it's asking, what's the idea? Tell me everything. What are you building? Give me the raw version, what it does, et cetera, et cetera. I think part of this process for me, it's interesting, like in building a skill,
Mm-hmm.
what the agent then says is I think part of that, part of the I don't know, part of the art of building a skill
Mm-hmm.
is like maybe even sometimes telling it like, don't summarize your purpose, just start acting as this interviewer.
Right.
I don't know if that's what we want, but at minimum, it understands what we're doing. So we could, let's go along a couple steps and then we'll keep building from there. So what am I building? I want to have the, I don't know, the fastest available urgent care experience, because I don't know, it's because when you need it, I don't know, you don't want
to wait.
to you don't want to wait, fill out countless forms, etc. And so our agent is going to take that information and it wants to dig in. So it's called out the core frustration. Urgent care is slow and bureaucratic. And how do we want to sharpen this? Right. When you say fastest, what's the bottleneck you're solving for? Is it the wait time in lobby, the intake process, right? All of it. And so this is that part where you express an idea. I want urgent care to be fast. And there's a lot of ways to solve for that.
Yeah.
And so this is really helping you dig into like, oh, you know, it is the forms or it is the wait time. And maybe it is all of it. But as this skill continues, as the agent continues, it's really going to drill down to like, what would be the most impact?
Yeah.
And maybe we start there.
I think from a user experience perspective, I think we need to be asking the user basically one question at a time, because this is too much all at once.
Oh yeah. Exactly. And that's one of the things I've also found. I frequently tell Claude, I'm like, one question at a time, please.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Do we want to dig into that, into modifying the skill? Where to go from here? Because first of all, this was pretty cool. Like Chad and I worked on this for about 30 minutes before the stream, just to make sure that it all worked. And it was great to see like we could just intersect a new agent, like intersect it into the process pretty seamlessly and without a lot of effort. Cool. When you say fastest, what's the main bottleneck? Is it the wait time? Let's do you want to keep going then?
Everything. Say everything. All of those. Now it's trying to, okay.
You want to compress the entire experience. Have I experienced this frustration yourself or observing from others? It's been both. Ooh,
Why did
interesting.
it read the skill?
I think does it want to know like the next, does it
Probably.
want to know the next question maybe? That's interesting that it felt it needed to read it again.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Tell
Cool.
me about a specific time. It's definitely part of our process. Where the slowness or bureaucracy? What was the situation? Um, sure. I was feeling super sick, feverish, headache, and all I wanted was relief. But as a new patient, I had, I don't know, 10 pages of forms to fill out on an iPad while
Appreciate you
watching.
properly capitalizing iPad, by the way. Your iOS developer roots are showing.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Cool.
Okay.
So,
Cool. So I wanna try something now.
mhm.
Have I made any assumptions? Yeah.
Are you imagining building your own urgent care facility? Like, honestly, that's really interesting because, like, even though I certainly wasn't before this, but like, even just having it ask that, like, spurs more ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, what did it say? Oh, nice. I didn't technically say
Right.
they want to fill them out on their form, although maybe it's made the assumption now. Um,
These aren't bad. They're just things we should test as we go, not assume. Now back to my earlier question, which I think will help us get to test assumption number 3. Cool.
okay.
So the reason why I ask that is because, I know the contents of what a kickoff looks like and the skills and everything. And one of the things that it does we do during the entire sprint is collect any assumptions that are being made. And that's one of the things that this is going to do is it's going to be capturing any assumptions along the way that we're making. Or maybe at the end of the process, it does an output of the assumptions being made.
Yeah. Also, Chad, because like as we were planning for today's stream, uh, Chad, you were painting out this idea of the agent like starting to create things on its own and having them
Mm-hmm.
appear because it's taking action. Like
Yeah.
right here, like this is the first time it struck me, like, oh, like maybe it's like, let's start an assumptions list and
Yeah.
whoop, it
I
appears
mean, that's
over
what
here.
happens during the sprint. We have a whiteboard or a piece of paper up on the wall, and anytime we hear someone say an assumption, someone writes it down on a sticky note or goes up to the board and writes it. Or nowadays, it'll be, if it's remote, it'll be like a Fig Jam board or something like
Yeah.
that. It can be a little intimidating to have your assumptions as you say them be put on a board. But I also think it is intimidating at first, but tends to turn into a good flow. So in my mind, that's sort of what I was thinking we would replicate.
Cool.
The other question I had is when in the instructions for the skill, when does it say we're done?
Yeah, that's interesting. Shall I pull up the full skill?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the opening, and then let the founder
Track
talk.
assumptions, track synthesis.
I don't know that it says. So we
Right.
could dig deeper into the overall skill because like this is a sub skill of the main skill.
Right. So I think that that's something that we're going to need to have is like a either would that be a global instruction or
Okay.
even just a like at some point someone needs to say, and it could be the agent or the user, I'm ready to move on. And it would be awesome if the agent was the one doing that. Like,
For
okay,
sure.
we're asking a series of questions, we're collecting. Once I'm able to do, like, I guess, this document,
Yeah.
then output the document as an artifact and progress to the next step, which is, I forget what the step was, but
Sure. Let's find out so that we know. Coming back here, zoom out a little. Customer focus. Who's it for? What's the market segment, etc. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up. Let's pull up the overall instructions, because like I said, this one is just this one step, and we have GitHub being slow. Okay.
So as we've talked here, I've captured some notes about capturing artifacts, the agent, knowing to move on. I thought there was one other thing, but I wasn't writing it down at the time. So
you said the right capture assumptions. Oh, one at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. Exactly.
Don't overwhelm me, please. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is the top level of the sprint skill that we're basing this part of the process on. And one of the things that caught me here was you're one consistent product expert the whole way through, not a rotating cast of personas. By us building different agents, I think as long as each agent, I mean, they're going to have the access to the chat, so they're going to know,
right?
They're going to know the previous information. And if each agent that we build, the kickoff agent, the customer focus agent, etc., I think they also are going to want to read this overall skill.
Yeah.
So the question is here for today, do we bring in all of it? Like some of this is, I mean, this is important information for the agent. This is again for like running it as a Ruby
right.
Script. So some of this is not going to apply to where we are. Cool. So we're updating documentation, the engine, the draft first move. So this is a lot. Right? But like this is the guide to like how we're doing it. So for today, how much of this do we bring in? And what I wanted to know was there anything here to like guide us to like for the agent to determine the end?
So actually, it was right at the top. It said never auto advance. The founder will be the one to do it. It's 0.2.
Got it. Okay.
But then later on, there's something about nudging the founder to ask whether they're ready to advance.
Okay.
Yeah, see right there.
All right.
We've covered real ground here.
So what if we bring part of this in? Let's go through the nudge and see how much we get here. It's a decent amount. I don't think we need that. So let's start here.
Yep.
Let's also just quickly verify that I'm not going to run the system tests right now, but just make sure that we're in a green spot. I know one of the things that we had done before, like if we looked at the, like let's say, I don't know, actually, if we look at our chat spec, has a bunch of things, including it has the expected tools, it passes the prompt, it uses the right model. Like we had a lot here for our chat model. Do we want to mirror this for the Kickoff agent? And how much of this do we want to mirror if the answer is yes? Or do we just want to kind of spike today?
Because it just wraps the, like it is a Ruby LLM provided class that wraps the chat class. So this describes the behavior of the chat class. I would either want to make sure that Kickoff agent, no, you're just testing that it, is a Ruby LLM agent, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So I would probably only try to test anything that actually
like
matter. Or if I'm test driving, I might figure out, okay, how do we make sure that it is using the right skills and tools?
Yeah. Okay. What do you want to do? Do you want to test drive this? Do you want to?
Yeah, let's test drive, because that's what we do.
Fair. All right, so we are green right now. Let me check one more thing, because we have our agent spec, and like this is the other time that let's just back up a little bit. This is chat, which comes from application record, and it gets tied into Ruby LLM through this line, compared to the reviewer agent, which directly descends from Ruby LLM agent. We'll just do a quick check. Like these are the only two spots. Like before today, we just had this reviewer, and now we're introducing the Kickoff agent. And so if we look at our reviewer, and then we jump to its spec, this might be, maybe we start from here, right? Because this was specific to the review method. So we don't need those. All right, I see. That doesn't really test anything other than the... Yeah, all right. So that's not going to help. But I feel like at minimum, we should grab... So if we grab the chat spec... Oh, so sorry. And paste it in here. And we are working with the Kickoff agent. And adjust that. Cool. So expected tools is read skill. The agent has no associations, is not doing tool calls, it is not delegating any methods.
Well, yes.
Oh, do you want me to undo that?
No. But I am just wondering whether Kickoff agents or agents in general delegate any methods not found to chat, or whether it's only specific things. Because if we start getting confused and we start passing around the agent instead of the chat, that could be a problem. But I think it's, practically speaking, not a problem, because we're currently passing around the chat, not the agents. And most of that also happens via a background job. So should we try to do an agent, I think we would get an error, because it can't be serialized.
That makes sense. Let's see. So this was around the status of a chat, and this is not doing anything around that. We are going to have an ask. So we create a chat, we stub the LLM. I'm going to comment that out for a second. I want to see, I just want to see that it fails without that and how it does. Chat ask, I don't know. So this is really, I don't know. We're just going to tell it go.
Yeah.
And then we would expect, so this was last LLM message received, which is a test helper. And this was making sure that, oh, I see. This was pulling out the tools. So
yeah,
I don't.
So we are going to want this.
Yeah, that seems fine. And
it's
then
not going to work because it's not stubbed.
Cool. And then it passes the system prompt to the LLM. Cool. So this we actually won't have.
It's no longer doing that.
No longer doing that. So there's not a system prompt.
And I don't know that we need to have a test that it passes its instructions to, like, that is a feature of Ruby LLM agent. So
are you saying this part?
No, the part you just deleted.
Oh, okay. Got it. We do want it. It uses the configured. Sure. It's using primary model here, making sure we're not suddenly and accidentally using Opus 4.8. This is important. We only want tools that descend from tool, because that's where we have a lot of our protections. If we look at our tool class, although it does bring in stuff. Oh, actually, this is interesting. We might. I'm curious to see how the reviewers run. I think because the read skill tool doesn't invoke reviewers, I think this basically becomes a no op.
Right.
But I could see this being a problem later, but all right. Just calling that out. I think we're fine. And I think for now, this safety check is correct. We don't want tools that don't descend from our tool class because we have extra protections there. And it registers the chat with every tool. This was the check that if we did chat.ask, that it would have the connection to the chat. Okay, cool. Interrupt. So interrupt is not.
That's correct. This, you can remove this spec. It's not relevant.
That one goes. And then the broadcast. I mean, technically
that's happening on the chat, not the agent. So that's fine.
Okay. So with this, I would expect we maybe only have the stub LLM failure. And we'll do a few things just to make sure the rest of our tests are good. Cool. That looks like the web mock. Nice. Okay. So we have that failure. Let's stub now the LLM. We should be green. Did not. Maybe. Oh, maybe it's a different call. Yeah, interesting. Oh, I see. All right.
So it actually contained that. Are we call? Yeah, we're calling out on the chat, not the. So we need to instantiate the kickoff agent there. So this is agent.
So, I see. Yep.
Kickoff agent dot new
with chat. That makes sense.
And then this becomes agent.
Agent ask. Okay, cool. So with that in mind, well, that's nice. Look at our test doing things. Let's just test this one line. I might have run it too fast.
I didn't save. If
I've got it to like auto save on a really tight schedule. Okay, like it's like milliseconds. Oh, I bet our last LLM message received helper is. Okay, it is pulling out of webmock and it's parsing the body, but the stub really isn't doing much there. Like, I mean, it's not doing unexpected things.
This could be a legit failure.
Let's grab this for a second. I just want to have the option to inline it here.
It's doing the message. It's just failing on the tools. It's failing on line 24, not on 22.
Yeah, which makes sense because like this is a chat. Like the chat, in a sense, proved that already works. But tools. I would also want to see. I'm curious if we jump to the Rails console for what we have here. That was interesting. That is not what I expected. I wanted to see like its list of tools. Yeah, this is pulling in. Oh, it's pulling in the system prompt. Right? This is our test-driven development. So
it's possible that. So can you do a search for with tools or to find where we're calling with tools? So yeah.
I wonder if because we're overriding chat ask here. So
I bet that's what's happening.
So if we take that out, does our test pass? And let me close some of these other things.
See, this is the benefit of doing tests, because had we not done the test, we would have never identified that exactly the behavior we didn't want to have happen was happening.
Yeah. All right. We don't need that for right now. I just wanted to get this list down a little bit. Okay, cool. So I'm going to take this out for a second. How do we get to green? Unknown keyword text. And so I think the normal. I think chat is dot ask. Okay, just wants the string. Okay. But this
that there
reinforces
is exactly what was happening. Okay.
So how do we resolve this?
I don't know. We just need to end the stream.
It is one way. So one thing we could do is we could take the step of right now the chat model is the thing that is owning all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so much like Kickoff agent, where we're like,
we need an application generation agent.
Okay.
And we would move all that stuff into it.
Is that where we are?
Well, I don't want to do it.
We can certainly do it.
Part of why I'm saying that is because then we're going to have to change all the reviewer specs, I think.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. It's potentially a huge lift. So
we're going to have to do it eventually, though, I think. Like it makes sense to do eventually.
Yep.
It probably makes sense to, if we were going to do that change, to do it in a separate branch as a separate PR.
Totally agree. For now, I mean, clearing the override here helps with that. Part of me is, though, now wondering, like some of these things we do want, right? Like I think this after update commit, for example, or
that's on the chat model. That's fine.
Yeah. So it's really and like this tool call since review, that's also a little more towards the agent that's doing app building. Cause
we don't know that we're not going to need review for the other thing, but there's nothing like top of mind where I would say a reviewer agent.
Yeah.
Well, unless you were like, your job is to identify assumptions being made.
That's true.
So,
but I think it wouldn't stop tool.
Reviewers are about stopping and interrupting. Yeah. I don't know that makes sense.
Okay. The chat itself, we do want that status. Like this is overall for all our chats. The belongs to app is still correct. The access chat is the thing that links it. So let's just do a little marking. So what do we say we're going to call it? App building agent?
Something like app generation agent is what I said, but
cool. And that matches the feature flag we have. So that moves to the agent. And so for now, I will take that out. The status of the chat we said is good. Belongs to the app is correct. Delegates to the app is correct. The commit. Why are these? Why are these split? We're just gonna move it around here, and then this. How do we?
Well, it starts off at 0, right?
Yeah.
So the chat having that it would be 0 because no tools
Okay.
have been called since. Whoa, I see. I was flipping around in my head.
I mean, this is just the safety that the chat, that this property. I think this is fine because we're not incrementing it. This is just a validation on the model. I think we're good there. This. That moves to the app generation agent. I don't want the linter to yell at me. The broadcast of the action buttons, which is this little section here.
Yep.
So this is fine. The interrupt stays on chat. The broadcast status, build tools. This is the thing that associates.
Yeah.
That associates the
that's
chat
an issue.
With each, and that's important, right? Because we want the tools to have a direct access back to the chat because they don't by default, and that limits a lot of things. So I wonder if this. What I'm wondering is if our kickoff agent is actually going to come from a new agent class that we have. That agent derives from Ruby LLM agent, and then build tools is just part of that, because we do want this to happen with every to happen with every agent to say like connected to the chat. So for now, this really moves to like an agent.
Yeah, but it'll no longer be able to work off of a constant.
Yeah, agreed.
And I also worry about this DSL here because.
Which one?
If you go back to the kickoff agent, this is evaluated at class instantiation time, I bet. And so it's going to present a problem for. Maybe there's some underlying method that we can then loop through these tools here. And
right, because what we do here, you're saying, is like where we were calling with tools, we're calling build tools. Build tools is the thing that does the mapping. Okay. All right, so that's going to be interesting. So do you want to try and solve? Do we need to solve this part now? Like we could.
I think it's a matter of we don't want to do too much at once.
Yep.
We wrote a spec that showed us that actually the underlying chat was being called with the system prompt and all of the tools.
Yes.
I think we need to address that. I'm feeling like we need to address that issue to make that change. What is the saying? Make the hard change.
Yeah. Make the easy change to make the change easy, as I think of it, or maybe I have that slightly misquoted.
But I think if we make one pull request, that does all of that, it's going to be confusing, but also potentially error prone. Whereas if we're just focused on changing the existing functionality to use an app building agent, then we can move everything over and know, okay, that's what that's doing.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, are you suggesting that what we do is like put a pause on this branch, flip over to main, and then essentially extract what we need to here so that nothing new is being introduced and all the tests continue to pass, but we've extracted out of this chat class the stuff that really is going to belong in the agent without introducing a new agent yet? Is that where you're going?
I think I would introduce the app generation agent.
Okay. Do you want to do that now?
Yeah.
All right.
We got 20 more minutes.
Let's go. Okay. So I'm going to mark this as a whip. And we'll just make some notes for ourselves. Reevaluate kickoff agent spec. And then like, I don't know, make sure it's not, I don't know, using the current
I wasn't sure what
like
you were
chat methods, tools, etc. And these may not live there forever, but just like we might do it once just to make like assure ourselves that we did it right. And then so that's that. And this is also disable chat ask and tools. Okay. So the only thing, all right, cool. So let's hop over to main. We're going to have this be add app generation agent. I'm going to pull over this. Actually, I think I want to pull this over. It'll get dropped out eventually. But in case we reset the DB, I want these new names of things. All right. Okay. So let's just close all the things. And let's start with the spec.
Yep.
And do we want to do the same thing where we grab the chat spec?
Yeah, exactly.
But now we're going to modify that. So in here, we are going to grab our chat spec. And do you want to define like the top level agent that inherits from Ruby LLM agent and start there? Yeah. Or do you want to do that as like a second?
I don't know that are you sure that we need that?
The only part that made me think we did was given this const. Okay, so however this gets handled, there's many ways to do it. That's fine. It's that we want every agent to register the chat with its tools, however it defines them.
Yeah. Can we look at the code for Ruby LLM agent?
Like their code?
Yeah.
And I'll let you drive here.
What I'm thinking about is whether... Okay, so this is the tools.
That's the macro.
This is the... Why is scrolling not working? There we go. Yeah, so that's the class level method tools, which is what is being called in our thing. And what that's doing is it is building an array of tools. Oh, you can give it a block.
Okay. So we could do then, are you thinking like a tools do, and in there do the registering?
I don't know if you have the chat at that point though.
Oh, right. Okay.
You might. And then what I was looking at was apply configuration. That's an interesting. Apply
So,
context, instructions, apply tools. So here is where
oh,
it's calling that.
and are you reading this as like a rewrite that you can do at runtime?
Right. If we were to override apply tools,
Mm-hmm.
that is where we could do that. But like what is say def evaluate is also a thing in this class. So if it's a proc, instance exec that, the value, the runtime instance exec. So we might be able to do that as a block that
Okay.
then puts the chat object into each tool.
Okay.
It's a little, I'm just wrapping my head around the Ruby, but I think
Sure.
I think that that's how it would work. So I don't think we need to override anything at all. The way I'm reading this. Yeah, see, the runtime context has the chat.
Okay.
And it's defined as a singleton method. So we should be able to just call chat So if we go back to our editor,
Mm-hmm. And I grab it up here. And if we were, do you want to start off with an? So if we make this our agent spec. Oh, actually, is this going to be? Are we going to define a top level agent?
No, I don't think we need one based on what we just read.
You think we're going to do that? We're going to do that maybe.
I think it's app generation agent spec.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and we'll need to define that class, of course.
So this is valid. This still stays.
Right. Okay. So now the associations don't apply anymore.
Right.
Those are still on the chat. So if we take out that, the generation agent is not doing that. And the delegation is all off the chat. And it's not the chat status. Cool. So now here we would do the
it needs to be after the line 23.
Right, because we want to pass it the chat. Okay. And then we sub the LLM, and then we agent ask.
And that doesn't take a keyword argument.
Thank you. We'll just keep these simples. And then
that's gonna fail. You have an uppercase and a lowercase g.
Just trying to keep you on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
So here do we want the negative of this, like it doesn't pass a system prompt? Or this is like
this one.
No, I guess because this is the app generation. Prompt. It is. So yeah, okay. So for all of these though, I think we're going to need that. Right?
Yeah. I was in my mind started to wander, and I was saying, now that we're introducing an agent particular to app generation, we might not need that system prompt class, because it was sort of doing, and if all the agent is like a few lines at the top, it's got a lot of room in that class for like, here's here's the instructions for the app generation.
Okay, I think
So a
at
lot of that system
minimum,
prompt functionality might move into the agent in the future.
yeah, at minimum, it needs to be renamed because now it's this generic system prompt.
Right.
But it did have the benefit of when you're testing, you could shut down parts of it, specifically these extended instructions, so that when your tests failed, you didn't have a wall of instructions, including how to TDD.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
But we
it
could still
gets
do that, though.
renamed. Yeah. Okay, cool. So for now, it will pass the system prompt.
Yep.
And so we just want this line up in our new pattern, and then we stub it, and then we expect the instructions to equal the instructions. It uses the primary model.
What did you just remove? It was calling it another chat again.
Oh no, I had
okay.
I had left the existing code and pasted in
okay.
this setup. So
Okay.
yeah, I was just like taking that out. So basically keeping it uses the configure. All right, so here again. Oh, this is interesting. No, right. So here we're gonna want 1 second. So with this setup,
I think actually we don't even need.
Can we get to agent? Let me see if we have access.
If you just do agent dot, I think if we just did agent dot create
without passing it a chat. I'm not sure what happened, but no, it's okay. I know what happened.
Keystroke to
shift. Yeah.
Yep.
So you're saying if we do that,
no chat, and remove that, I think that will.
The question
I don't know what the squiggles are about, but
it doesn't. It wants me to use create bang. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And then you should be able to just do agent.chat.model ID.
Because we think that's going to create, or we're hoping that that's going to create a chat reference.
Yeah, you can change that to bang.
Will it work if it's not on active? Well, we'll find out.
Cool. Yeah, it said that that's the API. The docs said that that's the API.
All right, and then the expected tools each will include our tool class, and then this is the check. This is sort of the key thing we've been building towards, but here we again need the paste in. Nope, not that one. That version. And now we expect agent.chat.
Well, there we passed in the chat, so, but I don't know that we need to. So this is correct, but it doesn't need to be agent.chat because we have a chat right here. But I'm also saying we could probably also get away with just calling create bang and not creating the chat through the factory separately.
Same thing as what we were saying we did.
Yeah.
Okay, so. And then we also don't need the stub then, and we're not asking. So again, if we do that, now we do agent.chat, you're saying?
Yeah.
And then its tools all have a chat attribute. Okay. And then interrupt is no longer part of this.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to look at it. Yeah, okay, cool. None of that applies. And the broadcast is on the chat, not on the agent. Okay. So let's review what we've got. We're building an app generation agent. We expect it to have the tools for app generation. It should, when we tell it to go, that message should pass all the way through, and that the tools that it creates are the tools that we listed. It has a system prompt. It has our primary model for the LLM. All the tools it has descend from our class, and the chat, every one of those tools also is registered. Cool. All right, so run this now. Of course, it's going to fail. Don't even have a model, but let's just run it. Right. So
uninitialized constant app generation agent. So that's what we expect. So
all right. So
and
now
I
let's,
think we shouldn't copy the chat
yeah.
class for this.
Yeah.
I think we
Agreed.
should create it from scratch. I think it's Ruby LLM : agent. Yep.
All right. All right. Let's run.
I didn't catch that either. I was like, what is it complaining about?
Sweet. So now we have 4 failures. Let's see what we've got. Oh, so sorry. Chat model must be configured to use create. All right, we'll have to read about that.
No, we don't need to read about it. I remember.
We don't? You know? Okay, great. So all the creates don't like that. And then, oh, right.
Because we have all this stuff is because we have an empty agent. We really need to define the attributes of the agent.
Although this, though, our chat ask is coming to, it is the problem that we solved on the other branch, which is we've overridden chat ask.
Right.
So, okay. Cool. Which one? Where do you want to start?
If we go to app generation agent, we can, so it's chat _ model. And then
I see.
The configuration, it's Rails.configuration.
I'm going to, got it. We're going to grab that off our this. It wasn't that one. Or
Actually,
it
might
one?
just be in the chat class.
Am I on the, oh, sorry, it's this one. Hardcode agent, add kickoff agent. Here we go. All right. We want these things.
But with model, not chat _ model. But
okay, so if let's do this one at a time. So with that, are we expecting anything else to pass now?
Yeah, so that one, line 46, should pass now.
All right, let's give it a whirl.
It might still fail for a different reason. Yeah, app must exist. I guess the factory on chat was creating an app, and now it doesn't exist. That we're just implicitly creating the chat, and so it doesn't have an app. So I guess we do need to give the factory, but we can, if it doesn't matter, you could always do, it probably is better to do this. Probably better to do that.
Okay. I'm thinking through it. I'm trying to understand undefined method chat equals so fun to read. Unknown attribute chat for chat. Sorry, I thought something and now I'm not sure. Let me just look at the Ruby LLM one more time.
Yep.
Where were you? Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted agents, not tools. And I want the Rails backed agent. So that wants a user.
Now go down to where it says using an existing chat record.
So, right. So we create the chat. Oh, okay. We should just be calling new then, maybe.
Yeah, I assumed new would take the same arguments as create bang, but it looks like it doesn't.
All right, so now if we run this line, what do we got? Okay, cool. It's passing. And just to check, if we don't do that, make sure that it doesn't default. Yeah, okay. It does want a chat. All right. Fantastic. So with that in mind, let's walk through all our tests from the top and sort of see what's failing where. So oh, that's funny. We were doing new there as well. So does this one pass or fail? it has the, so this is where now it's hooking into our
Right.
chat app. Do we want to take it out of chat here so that we're not coming into here?
We need this before tool callback.
Uh-huh. We need,
But does it need to be defined? Do agents provide that? Like, can that be on the agent?
overriding ask. Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. The full depth of this is coming crashing down on me.
If we go back to the RubyLM agent code.
Okay. Did you want to see if this has, so delegates, I see it delegated there. Is that the only place that it appears? This is the only place that the word ask appears here. Is that what you were looking for?
I wanted to, yeah, so on tool call, before tool call. So I'm asking whether we can define callbacks on agents. Do you get it?
I'm thinking.
I don't
think
know.
so. I'm not.
We can look at the docs.
So here, okay, so it does say delegated methods include chat ask. So if we, if we override it here, does that help us?
I think so. I just don't know. Why were we calling that callback in ask before?
You're saying over here in chat?
Oh, because we needed to call it on the chat. So are callbacks defined at the class level or at the instance level? Like here, can we define callbacks?
We could try it.
Okay, let's try it.
So what do we want?
It's here. I did it again.
Whee! So sorry. So I think at minimum, I think we need to take this out at least to not be calling it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in our spec right now, when we do this, let's see how it happens and see what it yells at. So it does not like before tool call as that, but if we gave it a block, would that make a difference?
Probably not. No.
Oh boy. Okay. Does not like that. I want to look at this again. So the whole point is that when we call chat ask, like one thing was tool call since review and incrementing it. That's potentially fine. And I could even see that being gated on like, what state are we in? Like if we're in app building state, do this, otherwise skip it. The with tools, we need this to associate it with the chat. And that's the only reason we have this thing. And then with instructions is just going to get moved to the instructions here. So like we could, if we want to jump ahead. Oh, although that is with system prompt for self. So it's not quite self, it's for It wants a chat reference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there might be better ways to do this.
Yeah, we keep on. So we ran into this when we did the other agent. We're running into it now. These
Yeah.
class level DSLs are a problem for the way that we're currently passing objects around.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to need to figure that out. And I'm not sure the right approach.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, clearly, like we're stumbling a little here. Want to think it through.
We do need to pass around the objects, I'm pretty sure.
I agree.
So we'll need to experiment with some different ways of doing, like, making these agents you can call, these are all instance methods that are delegated.
Mm-hmm.
So
as it points out, you can always access the wrap chat directly via agent chat. So cool, right? Which we've been using. Like that was the thing that you were saying that we did in the test. So really I was looking at the right, like there's that sync instructions, which is like if you've updated the instructions, you can do that. And I am wondering, can I scroll down a little, or did you want to look at something here? So they created, so this is where it's like syncing instructions. So one thing that springs to mind, if we don't find another way, is we could give it instructions empty and then, essentially sync instructions in its initializer.
yeah, but we're going to run into an issue with, like, we're going to have to change the way system prompt works. We're going to have to, like, all of those things, and maybe they take a block. We don't know. We know that the tools definition takes a block, but we don't know that they all take a block. If they take a block, then that could be potentially how we do that. That these are all blocks and not just defined at the top level. So they're evaluated at runtime.
Okay.
So we'll do a little bit more experimentation, and we'll let you know next week how it went. And we'll review that and continue on with the development of ReadySetGo. I think that's probably what we should do.
Sounds good to me, Chad.
Cool. Well, thank you for watching. And as always, if you've got any questions, comments, leave them in the chat and we'll see them and we'll respond to them even after the stream is over. And of course, if you need help building a new application or improving an existing one, please don't hesitate to get in touch with Thoughtbot at thoughtbot.com. Any words of wisdom, Lewis? Any parting words?
My parting words for this week, the dry words of wisdom are to go back to the beginning and like make sure your tools don't access things you don't want them to do. But maybe the better one and more on the nose for today is tests are important. Never skip them.
Yeah. That's good advice. Well, thank you again for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.